Yasu Malagido. Holy Mackinoff! Welcome to the Malaka podcast. 1967, part 4.
Sheldon Keefe liked the way his team attacked overtime in game number 4. It looks like they're ready to go to the attack with Matthews, Barner, and Nylander to start up against Stamkos, Cirelli, and Killorn. And a play for Shenus. Missed his pass, but Tavares keeps it going, and it's got Tavares behind the net. To the other side. Tavares! They finally caught lightning in a bottle!
Ladies and gentlemen, am I dreaming? Like, did this really just happen? I mean, I was born in April 9th, 1982. So I've yet to see the Toronto Maple Leafs win a Stanley Cup. My father, in 1967, was alive, and he was 10 years old, and he told me a story how he was sitting with his father, my grandfather, who passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace. Awesome guy. I still feel between him and Tom Selleck pulled off the best mustaches. But anyways, he was just falling asleep, and my grandpa, my papu, as we call in Greece, in the Greek language, nudged him and said, "Hey, wake up. The Leafs won." So that's why I question myself every time the Leafs do something like this. It has literally been 19 years since the Toronto Maple Leafs have advanced to the second round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. I still don't believe it. I mean, this happened, about an hour ago. I'm still in shock. I truly believe I'm like something's going to happen at midnight. The clock is going to reset. The coach will turn into a pumpkin again. In this case, the Leaf will, just bewilder and just turn brown and just, disintegrate into the Earth's atmosphere, and this didn't exist. So, but I'm gonna choose to believe that the Leafs actually won in overtime 2-1. And John Tavares, who is a awesome guy, who years ago I did a podcast about Canada, and I ended up changing the lyrics of "O Canada," because at the time we ended up getting John Tavares to the Toronto Maple Leafs, a guy who, when he was a kid, slept in Toronto Maple Leaf sheets. That's how much he loved the Leafs. He's a proud Canadian, and he ended up scoring the overtime goal so we could finally advance to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I can't believe it. Even watching this game tonight, you're watching the game, and it all just seems like a dream. I kept thinking to myself, okay, here we go again. I mean, we lost, a few days ago. We could have easily won at home, could have wrapped it up. Are we going to lose again because we're away? And then maybe if we come back on Monday, we're going to win, and that's it. I was I did not have a good feeling a couple days ago. I didn't. I wanted to play a pro line, which those of you who know anything about gambling in Canada, pro line is a legalized gambling thing. You get to pick your things on a sheet, whatever, 3 games. You hit all 3, it's good. It's a lot easier now because, I don't know, now basketball, you don't have to win by 6, and win's a win. Whatever. The point is, I didn't have a good feeling. Okay? Now, I know I said years ago on another podcast I was going to quit gambling, but like a true gambler, I lied. The point is, I saved myself $50 that day, and of course, the Leafs didn't win. We wanted them to. We really wanted them to. We wanted that Leaf pride to just, finally say, hey, you know what? We won. We advanced. It's fine. No problem. That's it. We got past the first round. But of course, in classic Leaf fashion, we were disappointed. And of course, we got to go back to Tampa. And we're all thinking to ourselves, fuck, here we go again. We're down, we are down emotionally, but, mentally kind of still, we're still up, 3-1, we can, the next 3 games. We got 3 games to win this. That's it. 3 games. And we all know what's happened in the past. Okay, we've been down 3 games. We've been up, score by 3 goals. We fucked that up too, fucking Boston. But, listen, all I'm saying is, it's tough being a Leaf fan. It really is. It's fucking draining. I'll be completely honest with you folks, okay? Like I said before, I made that decision a year ago or even 2 years before that. I'm not going to watch a full Toronto Maple Leaf game. And I fucked up. I gave in. But this year, I tuned in from time to time, but I didn't watch a full Leaf game. Okay, as much as a Leaf fan that I am, if you come to my place, it's pretty obvious. I'm not inviting you, I'm just saying. But the point is, it's obvious. I mean, this is Leaf Nation, okay? I always said the Toronto Maple Leafs to Toronto is like the New York Yankees to New York. It's that strong. And it's sad, since 1967, we still haven't been able to pull this shit off. And then Saturday night hits. We're like, okay, can they actually wrap it up? Are we going to fuck up again? Are we going to go till Monday? And then we just got another classic Game 7. Holy shit, here we go again. But something happened. It's been raining the last couple days in Toronto. Then all of a sudden today was, kind of dry and just... We're like, okay, maybe the clouds will part just for us. We're facing Tampa Bay Lightning, raining, everybody else seeing a connection there. I don't know, who knows, who cares. The point is, it happened. It actually happened. They scored in overtime, which we have done before. But this one was so important because we actually won the series. We actually get to advance after 19 long, struggling years. And I remember 19 years ago, me personally, I remember still living at home, unfortunately. And I remember, thinking to myself, like, of course it's going to get better than this. I mean, we've made it past the first round before. This is just the beginning. It's not like we're going to go into a 19-year slump, but we did. But I remember that day. I remember going out that day and still living at home and, driving my parents' car downtown and just having fun, me and my buddy just driving along College Street, and it was packed. It was crazy. I just saw a highlight of the news tonight, and it looks pretty crazy downtown right now. Absolutely. And it should. Okay, just everyone play safe, have a good time, whatever, no flipping cars, okay, we're not Philadelphia, all right, just, keep it civil, and that's it. And that's what happened 19 years ago. It took us forever to go up a couple blocks, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful night. It was so good. And I'm thinking to myself, this can't just end here. I mean, there's no way it's just going to end. But it did. It ended for 19 years. And I remember distinctively, and I forgot if I've mentioned this before, and this is something that is not for, the kids or someone that's, I believe, 19 years or younger, but I remember the next day, or even the day after that, who knows? My mind was a blur. I I mean, back then we didn't have weed shops. We had to just settle for weed, that we got from our friend, waiting 2 hours at a bus stop. Sometimes they'd show up, sometimes they wouldn't. But if they did, it was magical. But the point is, I remember going online. And ladies and gentlemen, that same night that the Leafs advanced 19 years ago, the MILF Hunter, who used to be a famous porn actor, was making a porn that same time at that almost same area in Toronto. And ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Google search and you put in MILF Hunter Kelly, you will see this porno. And it's something I'll always remember with associating with that and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it's a weird thing, but I guarantee you, if you watch this, you will have yourself a good laugh. You know why? Because one, you remember the simpler times in life where, Toronto was a much, kinder city. And I'm not saying it's not kind now. It's still pretty good now. But let's be honest, we're still recovering after COVID. And, a big win like this for the Leafs, it definitely helps. But at the same time, I'll almost say this, ladies and gentlemen. If you take the Spadina 510 streetcar after midnight, good luck. The point is, you will see in this video, this man just going up to, I'm not going to say what bank it is. Let's just say you'll think the color red. Okay, there's 4 major banks in Toronto. Do the math. Now, he goes there. And of course, random beautiful woman comes in. Of course, she doesn't know what to do. She's trying to work the machine. He's trying to work the machine. It doesn't work. And he says, you know what? Why don't you come back to my place and just wait? I'm sure if the Leaf game was still on and they weren't celebrating in the streets, they would have a good time. Instead, they decided to do, what grown folks do. And the funniest thing is, the whole time, ladies and gentlemen, the whole time, even when they're on the streets, even when they're in the apartment, just relaxing with a piano for some reason, you can hear the crowd going nuts outside in Toronto. And 19 years later, we finally get to hear the same noise. Not the porno, but the people outside celebrating and having a good time. Once again, go on Google, put in MILF Hunter Kelly. You'll have yourself a good laugh. Now, the game itself, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? It was a good game, but everybody was just waiting for that person to score. And, you get that feeling. It's one of those, feelings inside, you're like, you're watching the game and you're like, ah, shit, nobody scored in the first period. And, it's like one of those games where you just got a feeling, whoever scores first is going to win the game. He's going to have that momentum. Okay. So, and then you have a guy who scores that's on our side. Toronto Maple Leafs. Mr. Austin Matthews. Now, I'd just like to say this. There's been a lot of rumors, over the years that, Austin Matthews may want to go back home, to, I believe it's what, Arizona there, or Phoenix, whatever. Maybe wants to go back home. Maybe he's sick and tired of playing for the Leafs, whatever. Mr. Matthews, all I can tell you is this, okay? There's so much history with the Leafs. And I get it, okay? I get it. It's frustrating being a Leaf fan. I can't imagine what it's like being a Toronto Maple Leaf player, okay? You go on the streets after a loss, people are going to give you shit, okay? Not as bad as Montreal, okay? I've heard the stories from Montreal where literally, if you're a Montreal Canadian player, and I feel sorry if you are, but if you go out there, and if you just lost the game, you can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to a bar. I mean, they're going to harass the shit out of you. They're going to give you shit. Okay, you can't do it. Here, you can do that. No problem. Maybe it might cost you an autograph, but other than that, that's it. So I get the pressure, okay? And you've been our number one player for quite some time, okay? I remember that draft, okay? 2016 draft. I mean, you, Marner, Nylander, all in one draft, okay? It was insane. It was absolutely insane. As far as I know, the Leafs have never had a draft that good. Assuming that we don't, give up a number one pick or, I mean, listen, we all know the history there, okay? But you're part of something really special here. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Leafs will win a cup by 2030. I guarantee it. Okay? I'm going to say this again because a lot of people probably don't believe me, that the Leafs will win a Stanley Cup by 2030. Now, I'm saying that assuming that the team that we have now stays together for the most part. I mean, maybe we'll do a trade or something that'll even out. I mean, who knows? But the team that we have right now, I'm basing that we will win a cup by 2030. Okay? Could it happen this year? I don't know. I think there's a good chance. But like I'm saying with Austin Matthews here, you're the leader of this team. You're the future. Now, John Tavares is our captain, and he does deserve it. Okay, like I said, he absolutely deserves to wear the C. But future-wise, we all know Matthews is, the future of this team. We all know that. Marner, Nylander, again, assuming all these guys stick together, keep playing together. Him and Marner are very close together. So I get the pressure of playing as a Toronto Maple Leaf. It's a lot. There's a lot of history there, since 1967, no fucking cup. I believe we're the longest team in history to not win anything by, considering that, we've, been established for a long time, 67, that's, it's too much to count. The point is, I understand the pressure, but, him scoring that first goal tonight, I mean, is awesome. You can see him putting his hand in the air. Like he still loves playing here. So like, I don't want to hear a lot of shit. People saying, "Oh, he's the problem." And I know in the past, like Matthews has, like a lot of times, like in like in the regular season, he'll break all these scoring records and all that, for the Leafs and. Just be great. And then the playoffs, he's still good, but it's not there. I mean, so far, this playoffs, absolutely, he's been there. Okay, enough's enough. I mean, you got to stop giving him shit. I mean, sometimes it takes time for a player to really find their stride, and the playoffs are a completely different game. Growing up, I remember watching certain players, and they just adjust way differently in the playoffs, especially goalies. I mean, sometimes goalies can just, turn it up 10 notches when they're in the playoffs. So, again, he's still a young player, but at the same time, yeah, it's frustrating. Like every first round you're in, you're out, Even Keenan Thompson made a joke. Was last year's in the awards there. He said, "Oh, yeah. Austin Matthews, yeah. I'm not used to seeing you in June or something." He said something like that, but yeah, but it is frustrating, man. I mean, it really is. But for Austin Matthews to score that goal, and the first goal of the game too, because again, like I was saying, like it just felt like one of those games where whoever scores first, it's going to have that momentum, and honestly, I almost hate to say this, but I always just say this to people. I'm a realistic Leaf fan. So I knew if Tampa scored that first goal, I think it would have been tougher for us today, for sure. I mean, in all honesty, no bullshit. I thought we were going to lose today, and then for sure we were going to win on Monday. Because I honestly do believe that we were going to win on Monday because we fucked up a few days ago, and I do believe that Monday, forget it. We just gave it our all. For sure. I mean, obviously you can tell from the first period today, it was going to be a low-scoring game. But yeah, it was great to see Austin Matthews get that first goal. And then we're thinking to ourselves, okay, so we're off to a good start. Listen, they're still the Lightning, okay? We can't forget that, okay? It's not like they're not going to go down without a fight, man. And they're playing in Tampa, okay? It was, yeah. And again, let me just point this out. Again, in that crowd, like, I can't believe, I haven't seen that many Leaf jerseys since we play in Montreal. I mean, I can't believe how many Leaf, and again, like at one point, I'm like, are these Leaf jerseys? I can't tell because they're blue too. Are they the away jerseys or are they Tampa Bay? Like, I don't know, I couldn't tell. But then a lot of times you could tell people standing up. They show close-ups of the crowd, and you're like, holy shit! Like there's a lot of Leaf fans in Tampa Bay. I mean, like, do these people travel like for a couple days to go down there? Are they? Is it just early retirement for a lot of Torontonians? Like after COVID, they're like, fuck it, we're just going to go to Florida, Tampa, whatever, and just chill out. And we're going to enjoy hockey in hot weather and then go to the beach after. Who knows? But I mean, it was insane to see how many fans in this series are Toronto fans in Tampa Bay. It's fucking awesome seeing that. So, but yeah, of course, it's Tampa Bay, and yeah, they're definitely going to respond. And who responds? Of course, one of my favorites. Okay, I'll admit, yeah, is Mr. Stamkos. Okay, so he responded, and of course, I mean, listen, this guy's not going down without a fight either. I mean, yeah, he's going to play off, that Leaf energy as well. So, yeah, so makes it 1-1. All right, so we're like, okay, and I'm going to be honest with you. At this point, I have a feeling, this is going to overtime. I mean, you can see there weren't like how many penalties were there? I think there was like only like 2 in the whole game or something, right? I mean, like if that. I don't know. It seemed like I think 1 for each team, maybe. I don't know. I was just so into the game, it was crazy. But actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like at times I was like, oh shit, I hope someone scores, and I really get into this game because I mean we're gonna. I mean, if Tampa Bay wins after all this shit, we're gonna be pissed, man. I mean, another wasted Saturday night. Fuck, it comes with being a Leaf fan. But anyways, yeah. So we're like, okay. I just had a feeling that it was definitely gonna go into overtime for sure. So, we're watching overtime, and of course, back and forth, whatever, and and then good old Johnny T. Good old John Tavares. Let me just read a little bio of Mr. John Tavares, courtesy of Wikipedia. John Tavares, born September 20th, 1990, is a Canadian professional ice hockey forward and captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs of the National Hockey League, the NHL. He was selected first overall by the New York Islanders in the 2009 NHL entry draft, where he spent 9 seasons and served as captain for 5 seasons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I remember one game he came back and they were playing in, New York Islanders there, and they booed this man. And I'm thinking to myself, man, like, no respect for what this guy, like all the work he put in for that team, and then, they just boo the guy as soon as he comes back. Little shit like that pisses me off. It really does. But who had the last laugh, ladies and gentlemen? Who had the last laugh? Tavares was born on September 20th, 1990 in Mississauga, Ontario, to Barbara and Joe Tavares, who are of Polish and Portuguese descent, respectively. His maternal grandparents, Polslaw and Josephine Kowal, immigrated from Poland to Sudbury, Ontario, and his parental grandparents, Manuel and Dorothy Tavares, immigrated from Portugal to Toronto, Ontario. At a very young age, Tavares moved to Oakville, Ontario. This is where he was first exposed to minor hockey through the Minor Oaks Hockey Association. Tavares also played soccer and lacrosse, and his highly competitive nature often led him to fight with other players. Tavares excelled at lacrosse, Following in the footsteps of his uncle, John Tavares, same name, nice, the all-time scoring leader in the National Lacrosse League, NLL, and was a ball boy for his uncle's NLL team, the Buffalo Bandits. The younger Tavares credits his uncle with teaching him the importance of remaining unselfish, stating what he learned by following his uncle with the Bandits has made him better both as a person and a hockey player. Many skills he learned in lacrosse, such as spinning off checks and battling in traffic, transferred to ice hockey and improved Tavares' abilities as a goal scorer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you see the way he scored that goal at the end, he took it behind the net and he did this great little spin move. Okay? So remember what I just said here. Okay? Patience, the ability to score a goal. Like he wanted that goal. You could tell. And for some and again, you're going to call me nuts, whatever. For some reason, I had this image of John Tavares going into overtime. I don't know why. I was just thinking of the podcast when I was redoing the Canadian anthem there. We got John Tavares. Beautiful voice. But I was just thinking that for some reason. I don't know why it popped in my head. And I see Tavares with the puck. And he does a little spoon move. And he shoots it. And he scores. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, this happened. This actually... It happened. I can't believe. I was like, survey says, I am the bell always helps me out. I still can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I'm very happy, ladies and gentlemen. I was debating to celebrate today and, my own little way I am by doing this podcast, just shortly after the game. And, you know what? Something tells me I want to celebrate when these guys win the cup. And that's when I think the real celebration is going to begin. Now, again, maybe I'm overshooting it, being the classic old school Leaf fan and just thinking, it's going to go all the way. But, I said, a big thing is us getting over this hump. And I think it was a huge psychological thing for years. And a lot of things just didn't work out in our favor, And even seeing, I want to bring up Giannis's speech that he gave, and a lot of people, the Milwaukee Bucks, a lot of people feel, okay, they were number one and, they failed the first round versus the Miami Heat. First of all, Jimmy Butler's, could he be Michael Jordan's kid? Who knows? We'll talk about that another time. But the point is, that guy's an awesome player. So, Miami Heat's got a great team. I think there's going to be a lot of underdogs in the NBA this year, in this year's playoffs. There already has been, but anyways, he gave a really good speech, and he said he basically said, I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but he says, there are no mistakes in sports, and in a way he's right, And I'm not going to lie. The comedic mentality in my head, the first thing I thought of was O.J. Simpson. But other than that, I don't think there's been that many mistakes. Okay, let's just be honest. I'm just making a joke there. But in all honesty, he's right. And he's like, sometimes, this goes wrong. Sometimes this, and it's just many factors that go wrong. So, maybe there was a curse with the Leafs. Who knows? Maybe there still is. Maybe it's a million things that could have happened. Things happen. Yeah, people do come back from, a huge deficit. People, fuck up in one game and then it costs us a series. It happens all the time. But with the Leafs, it just kept happening over and over and over and over and over again. And 19 fucking years of this shit. And, and finally, I said to myself, like I said before, we get over this hump. It's a start. That's the big start. That's what we got to do. Get over this hump. And ladies and gentlemen, finally we did it. We finally got past the first round after 19 years. And who do we face now? Either Florida or Boston. Oh shit. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if this series was a hurdle, we're gonna have to get ready to jump over the CN Tower, possibly the next round. But the point is, it doesn't matter who we face: Florida, Boston, Malaka's. The point is, fucking Marchand. I like you, but I fucking hate you at the same time. You're a good player, but fuck. The point is, the point is, doesn't matter who we face. Okay, we faced a great team like Tampa Bay. So props to Stamkos and all the boys there. You could see at the end there, everybody was shaking hands. Everyone was just giving props. It was all love there. I saw somebody threw a bottle of water on the ice. I did see that, and shame on you, whoever threw that. Okay, I caught that. But the point is, it's all love. You know what I mean? And we got over that hump, and we faced a pretty difficult team. Which, again, I'll never understand how we end up, almost on top of our division there, and we get to play Tampa Bay. That's our reward. Okay, I don't know. Things. Is it a Ballard curse? I don't know. The point is, okay, doesn't matter who we face. Florida, Boston, okay, aliens on Mars. It doesn't matter, okay? We got over the hump, and who knows what's going to happen in the second round, okay? Who knows? But I like the squad that we got right now. It's pretty good, okay? Every year that we fail, that just means one more year of experience. That's the way I see it. And this year, we actually, we did it. I'm probably going to wake up tomorrow and still, not believe it, But, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Okay, so, believe it or not, after 19 years, it is a huge accomplishment. And I just wanted to make this podcast and, wish the boys the best in the second round. And let's see what happens. And who knows? This year, it could be just like the feelings people felt in 1967. Part 4.
Last question, Kevin. John, you've got a close relationship with Steve Stamkos. What have you talked with him over the years about winning, and maybe what did he say to you in the handshake line there?
I don't think he's we played them the last 2 years, so I don't think he was saying a whole lot to me, but he just said congrats and just to keep going. So I got a tremendous amount of respect for him and what he's been able to do in his career. Obviously Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame career and tremendous leader and captain. So always a test and a challenge going up him, and a lot of memories together, a lot of battles over the years, not just in the NHL but as kids. So obviously great to compete against each other and nice to come out on top today.